And would you just take it easy?
No, you stay away from me. I'm calling the cops.
Hey, why you... Calm down, man. Relax. Will you just try and relax, okay?
You leave Spinelli alone!
As I mentioned earlier, you will not be getting out of here tonight.
Okay, how bad is it?
It's too early to tell. The police officer in question, Detective David Harper, maintains that he had a clean shot at Zakara and that your actions enabled Zakara to escape and take a hostage. Now, in legal parlance, that's called aiding and abetting. And if Johnny Zakara kills anyone while at large, the charge against you could be as an accessory. It also means that if he kills an officer of law enforcement, the charge will be murder with special circumstances.
Against me.
I find it so ironic that with all of your past alleged crimes, you could now be facing a lethal injection for stopping a cop from shooting a love-struck 20-something-year-old girl.
Mr. Corinthos?
Miss Donev? What do you need to see me about?
Mr. Karpov wanted me to discuss the finer points of his deal with you.
Those are string beans, and I want them cooked.
You really want to draw attention to yourself like that?
Don't give me attitude, Claudia. You can see I'm not in the mood. Just tell me where your brother is.
Wow, that's really terrible. When did the professor die?
A couple of months ago. My sister and I, we have the apartment downstairs. We always used to hear the professor playing, then he stopped. The guy never went anywhere, not without letting us know. So I came up, knocked on the door, finally busted in. I found him dead.
How did he die?
Seemed peaceful. He was in his sleep.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice to know that the professor wasn't met with any sort of violence. He was truly a gentleman who, his life was all about music.
And his students. Matter of fact, I talked about them all the time, even the ones who'd left. Funny thing is, I don't ever remember him saying the name Joe.
Back off!
Would you put that thing down?
I'm not kidding, Herb. I'll do it! Spinelli, go get help!
In my own living room, I might add.
First of all, I would never leave you alone with a shirtless marauder.
You are a living room.
And secondly, I think we have little to fear from Dr. Hunter.
He's walking around without his clothes on in my living room. My living room! Were you going to tell me that you're in the wrong house?
No.
That's it.
Wait. He doesn't actually appear very hostile.
He's half naked claiming he lives here, Spinelli.
I do live here.
I'm going to call the hospital and tell them that you snapped a bolt.
I guess you didn't get my message about your new roommate.
So Mr. Karpov left your meeting believing that you had reached an understanding.
Yeah. I only want to work as a consultant. I'm willing to suggest transportation routes, public officials who may, take a liking to Mr. Karpov. I can introduce him to other parties who may share the same interest. But I will not be taking an active role. And this is important, a deal breaker. Mr. Karpov has to peacefully coexist with my old organization.
Mr. Karpov is not a man who takes orders.
Well, that may be a problem.
I haven't heard from Johnny yet, but I know that he's still trying to put distance between himself and the police.
If they haven't caught up with him already. He could be lying in a ditch somewhere after little Lulu ran off and left him.
Don't underestimate John, Daddy. He's capable of taking care of himself.
You better pray nothing happens to your brother. If it does, I will send you straight to hell.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and moan about my pain and grief, all right? I get it. I understand. Everybody suffers losses.
Doesn't make him hurt any less.
No, it's just... I don't know. I know. I've been very blessed throughout my life. I mean, a few years back, I was in a car accident down by the river. Lost control, flipped the car. There's no way I should have survived that. But I did. Same way Emily survived cancer. I fought so hard for her. prayed so hard. I was so determined for her to try and take some strength from me. And she did. And I'd like to believe that's one of the reasons she pulled through. As crazy as that sounds, I believe that.
I think that sounds crazy.
But I really started to believe, Nadine, that the worst could never happen. Just couldn't happen. That no matter how hopeless things got, in the end they'd turn around for Emily and me.
You and Emily shared a connection. The type of connection people would do anything for.
I know, Nadine, but she's dead. That's the point. That someone who's so kind and so generous and has everything to live for can be taken away from you so senselessly. So could Lulu.
You don't know that.
Well, Emily's death also taught me that you can run out of miracles. But the people that are so precious to you, the people that you do anything for, even die for, you're helpless to save them, really.
Just tell me the best case scenario.
I convince a judge that you were an innocent bystander who acted heroically and prevented an overzealous cop from shooting an unarmed
Okay,
hostage.
good. That's what happened. That's the truth. I mean, not the hero part, but
I
that's
reserve the right to apply any hyperbole I deem necessary to get you out of this. Unfortunately, you have an extensive police record. You have been tried on murder twice. You were convicted once. That was reversed. You were acquitted once, thanks to my brilliance.
Diane, I know all this. I know.
Any competent DA, and Alexis Davis is more than competent, is going to argue that you were in that squad room to help Johnny Zakara escape, that you furnished him the gun with which he took Lulu hostage.
Lulu brought the gun in.
Do you have any proof?
No, I don't. She's the only one who could have brought it in. The cops are going to search her. It's Lucky's sister. She killed Logan. She doesn't want Johnny to pay, and she freaked out.
Where do you think Lulu got the gun?
I don't know. Diane, Johnny, maybe? Edward Quartermain. She's living at that house. He's got a gun collection.
I can petition the court for a warrant. Determine whether or not Edward Quartermain is actually missing a gun. Now, let's just assume that he is. Then I will argue that Lulu Spencer acted alone, that she brought the gun into Johnny, at which point the case against you for aiding and abetting completely falls apart.
No. Don't go for the warrant, no.
I am not suggesting that we give up Lulu Spencer as the individual who killed Logan Hayes. I'm simply saying that the courts will be far more lenient on a hysterical girl.
Okay, you just told me that helping Johnny escape makes Lulu an accessory, right? So if Johnny kills a cop, she could get murdered with special circumstances. Is that right?
That is an extreme interpretation.
Diane, yes or no?
It's possible.
Okay, don't tell the cops anything. Lulu's a hostage. That's it. End of story.
It's a good thing that you pay me so much money, because you make it extremely difficult to mount a competent defense.
I owe it to Carly and Spinelli to cover for Lulu, okay? Just find another way to get me released, please.
That may not be as easy as it sounds.